Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of Tableau in 2 minutes. Today we're going to be covering how you can create and use sets. Sets are a very flexible feature in Tableau that allow you to group dimensions together, similarly to the grouping function, which we've also done a video on, but in a slightly different way. You can make sets flexible, you can have dynamic sets, you can have fixed sets, and you're able to easily remove and add data points to sets. So they're a bit more flexible than groups, and you can also use them as filters and on the color shelf, as you will see as we move through here. So I went ahead and I connected to our cars data set, and we're going to create a set in a couple of different ways. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create what's called a fixed set. So to create a fixed set, we really need a scatter plot or some other type of graph. So let's go ahead and graph our city miles per gallon against our horsepower. That gives us a scatter plot, and then we're going to take ID, which is basically every individual row in the database, and we're going to create points based on that. Now you can see, I would say that we have a number of outliers here. So we have a couple of outliers out here. We have a handful of outliers down here. And to create our first set, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight these points, and then we're going to just click on one and then click on it and create set. And you can see that we have set one, so we'll just call these outliers. Click that. We can go add to outliers. So what you see what I'm doing is I'm taking these individual points. You can highlight a bunch of them too, and then just going add to outliers. And then when we look at our outlier set, just click on the down arrow, go to edit set, you'll see that we have all of these ID numbers included in our set. Now we can do a couple of things with this. First off, we can take it and we can put it on the filter shelf. You'll see that if we take it and we put it on the filter shelf, it filters out all of the items that aren't in our set. So if we just wanted to look at outliers, that's something it's a flexible thing we can do. We can also take outliers, we can drop it on the color shelf. So now you see we have items that are in the set and items that are out of the set. So again, we can use that to create different colors. But if we wanted a different type of set, hand selecting all of our points could be a little bit painful, particularly if we were looking to put in another points. We can also create a set based on a dynamic, what's called a dynamic method. So to do that, we're going to click on ID, which we want to include in our set. We're going to go to create and then set. Now you can see this allows us, right? We could select individual items. We don't want to do that. We're going to set a condition. We're going to say when horsepower is greater than 200, we are going to include that ID in our, or that ID number in our high horsepower set. Alright, so now you see we've created a second set. This one includes only cars where the horsepower is greater than 100. I'm just going to edit that set because I think I actually did it a little bit wrong. So I've done it where the horsepower equals 100. Obviously we want greater than or equals 200 rather. And now you can see we've created a set with these 4 items, which are all of the cars in our data set where the horsepower is greater than or equal to 200. We can also, if we wanted to, we could create one based on a top. So we could say, again, we're going to go in and create a set. We can create the top 25 most powerful cars. So top 25 most powerful. And again, we're going to take our horsepower field. We're going to look at the top 25 by horsepower for each individual car, and then we can take that, drag it onto the color shelf, and there you go. So now we have our top 25 most powerful cars all highlighted and in a particular set. Now, if we wanted to take this, as I said, we can take top 25 and we can make it a filter. So we're only looking at the top 25 cars, and this is obviously their horsepower versus their miles per gallon. But we can do 2 things with it. We can either show the members or we can show in and out of the set. If we use it as show members, then this happens. So we only get members that are in the set, and we can filter based on those individual members. If we use in or out of the set, then we can select whether we want to look at items that are in the set, which would be the same as we have now, or we can choose whether to look at items that are out of the set. just like this. So this is all of the items that aren't in our set. So very interesting way of looking at it. So a couple of other things we can do with sets. You can combine sets. So if we take this set, this is our high horsepower set. So this is the, let's take the 25 most powerful. We're going to create a combined set, and this is going to be most powerful outliers. So we can combine the top 25 most powerful with that outliers set. We could do that in a number of ways. So we can include all of the members that are in both sets. We can include members, only the members that are in both sets. We can include all of the members in the top 25 most powerful except those in outliers. Or we can take all of those that are in outliers except the ones that are in the top 25 most powerful. So we can fiddle those around in any number of ways that we want. Let's go ahead and just look at the ones, the intersections, so the ones that are in both. We'll create our new set here, and then we can take that. Again, let's take off our filter, and then look at this most powerful outliers. Why don't we drag that to the color? And you can see that in the outliers set, we have both these two and these three at the bottom, but in the top 25 most powerful, everything is up here. So the intersection of those two sets ends up being these two items right up here at the top. If you wanted to do an A/B test, sets are a great way of setting that up. You can have the control group as one. You can put the control group in a set, or you can put the test group in a set, and you can use that to filter in and out and really look at your results in a lot of detail with the in versus the out set. This intersection is really helpful if you wanted to see items that happened both this year and last year, or happened this year but didn't happen last year. You can create a set for events or customers that purchased that happened in one time frame, the same set for items that happened in a different time frame, and you can look at the intersection of those. You can look at all of the events together. It's really a great way of getting really down and deep in any number of different ways that might be complicated just using traditional Tableau functions. So that does it for this episode of Tableau in 2 minutes. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. There's a link to the dataset and to the workbook in the video description. And if you like what you hear, then please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time.